Spring break was something I'd always missed out on during my college years. Unlike my classmates who partied in Mexico or Miami, I'd stayed back every year. But by senior year, I realized this was my last chance to experience it before the reality of adult life hit. Mexico was out of the question, so my girlfriend Ally and I decided to do something different. We found a secluded Airbnb in the woods of Lake County, California. It was affordable, hidden away from the world, exactly what we wanted. We thought it'd be a perfect couple's getaway and invited her best friend Leah and her boyfriend Calvin along. It wasn't the wild spring break experience, but it sounded perfect. A cozy cabin in the woods, a hot tub, stargazing. What could go wrong? It was a long, cramped drive there, squeezed into Calvin's tiny Mini Cooper. By the time we arrived, it was already dark, and the house looked more eerie than cozy. Tall trees surrounded the property, blocking out everything but the single neighboring house in the distance. There was no cell service, but we had each other, and the place was ours for the weekend. The first night passed uneventfully. We stayed inside, sipping wine by the fire, playing board games, and laughing as we tried to coax Calvin into the hot tub. He wasn't in the best mood, but we chalked it up to the stress of the drive. The real trouble started the next night. It was the second night, and we'd finally convinced Calvin to join us in the hot tub for some drinking games. The spa was in a small room at the back of the house, with screened walls that let in the crisp night air. We were having a blast. The music was loud, and we were more than a little buzzed when it happened a flash of light. Bright, blinding, and completely out of place. We froze, the music cutting off as we stared at each other. Was it lightning? But there were no clouds, no storm. I got out of the hot tub, grabbed a towel, and headed for the back deck to check it out. As I stood on the deck, I heard it the first click. A strange clicking sound, like two stones tapping together, echoed from somewhere in the woods. A few seconds later, another click, this time from the opposite direction. My heart began to race. What the hell was that? Suddenly, a whistling joined the clicks and eerie off-tune melody. My instinct screamed that something wasn't right. I yelled for the others to get inside, and they didn't hesitate. We all ran into the house, slamming the door behind us. In the living room, we huddled together, not sure what to do. Was it just some local kids messing with us? It seemed unlikely. We were miles from town, deep in the woods. And the sounds, the clicking and the whistling, they didn't feel like a prank. Minutes passed in tense silence, but then there was a bang, a loud, forceful knock at the front door. Leah screamed, and Calvin fumbled for his phone to call the police. I grabbed the largest kitchen knife I could find, preparing for the worst. My heart pounded as I shouted through the door, "We have a gun. Get the hell out of here." The banging stopped. For a moment, I thought it was over. But then, the living room window shattered, a massive rock crashed through the glass, sending shards flying across the room. The girls screamed again, and I was ready to fight, knife in hand. But no one followed the rock inside. I crept toward the window, knife raised, and noticed something. There was a note taped to the rock, ... in crude, smeared handwriting. It read, "Go away. You shouldn't be here." The police arrived after what felt like hours. They searched the property, but of course, they found nothing. Whoever had been out there, stalking us, had vanished into the woods. We didn't wait for their report. We packed our things and left that night, driving through the dark, empty roads until we were far away from that cursed place. The Airbnb host gave us a full refund, but they refused to talk about the incident. My girlfriend was convinced the host knew more than they were letting on, that the place had some dark history they hadn't shared. I couldn't shake the feeling that she was right. The memory of that night haunts me. The flashing light, the eerie clicking, the whistling, something was out there in those woods. Something watching us. We were lucky to get out alive, but one thing is for sure, I'll never go back to the woods again. And next time, I won't be so foolish.